Hey everyone, Strong Sweet Caroline, and I'm back. And today I wanted to give y'all a little update and some tidbits on deciding if it's time for you to bulk or cut. And just to start off, it's been a crazy past few months. Now it's November, which I can't even believe we're almost to the end of the year. Feels like 2020 just hasn't ended, but a lot of people are looking at it as 2020 was a bad year, but it's all about your perspective. And I think there's always things that we can learn from experiences and how we perceive them as good or bad. So, needless to say, end of November, and I was reflecting on the past few months, what's been going on with me. Honestly, coming out of my shows, which were in September, I had a really good reverse diet for about 6 weeks. And then I just hit this wall of being tired of dieting. And honestly, for about a week to 2 weeks, I was kind of eating intuitively. I had increased my calories a little bit higher, and I was eating a lot of processed, healthier foods, what is marketed as healthy, but I'm also starting to see some side effects from that. And so I've actually put on a few more pounds, more than I wanted to, and it's actually created some mental issues, if you will, having some body dysmorphia and not liking the way that I look and feel. And I've also been battling with kind of an eating disorder in a way, and eating when I'm feeling like a loneliness or a depressed state. I think a lot of people go through that, especially this time of year. If you're surrounded by family and friends, you feel like you have to keep eating when other people are eating, or on the opposite end, when you're by yourself, you like to hide away and eat foods that you are afraid somebody's going to judge you for, or you're feeling an emptiness, a loneliness, and you want to try and fill that void with food. It can be a dangerous route. I've experienced it in the past as well. So a few things that have helped me overcome it. Number one, understanding and embracing my cravings and what food specifically I'm wanting. I've actually noticed that it's more of a texture than it is a specific food. So if maybe I want something really crunchy, instead of grabbing a bag of chips, I can find an alternative route. Maybe it's making my own roasted Brussels sprouts and making them super crunchy and crispy, or having a rice cake instead of the potato chips, something like that. Now on the opposite end with the sweets, usually it's like the dairy-free ice cream that I really love, adding in some dark chocolate sunflower cups from Trader Joe's, things like that that are very rich in that sweet flavor. So I've tried to kind of kick that to the curb by still enjoying some chocolate here and there, but adding in more whole fruits and making maybe a sorbet or an acai bowl, something that's got like a blend of things. I've also been loving granola. All foods that aren't bad for us, but anything in excess or anything that's too low in our healthy recommended intake can be a bad thing for us. And so that's what leads me into the conversation about bulking versus cutting and dieting. And for some of you, the past few weeks, I've had some very exciting news. If you've seen my Instagram or my email newsletter, I just got accepted to the Nutrition Dynamic team. Super excited to be a part of it. And what that means is I've been working my butt off, researching, learning more about metabolism, sex hormones, cholesterol, whole foods, cardiovascular disease, you name it. And so through that process, I think that's part of the reason why I was starting to have some issues with food myself, because I'm literally doing work nonstop in my current day job, and then working towards the Nutrition Dynamic team, current clients that I work with, and onboarding new clients. So it's like, how do you balance everything? Well, the first thing that I actually have stepped away from a little bit more is the gym. I've been training in the gym about 4 days a week, and that's the lowest volume that I've ever done as far as number of days doing weight training in the past 5 years of being a competitive bodybuilder. Am I losing muscle? No, because I'm still eating at a maintenance level, and I'm still intaking enough protein that I'm going to have protein muscle synthesis. I'm not going to lose muscle. It's also very mistold out there that you lose muscle when you don't go into the gym and work out. Studies have shown that it takes over 6 months for you to start having atrophy or muscle wasting, depending on your age, if you aren't going to the gym. If you're still maintaining a healthy diet and a balanced diet with adequate protein, carbohydrates, and fats and fiber, you will not lose that muscle mass. So for those of you who are afraid that when COVID closes down again, that you're not gonna have the gym, you're gonna lose all your muscle, no, that's a fallacy. So how do you decide if it's time to increase your calories, keep them the same, or do a cut? This time of year, I think a lot of people start to become more self-conscious. They're around family and friends more, especially being in a lockdown. We haven't seen people. So you want to look good. You want to feel good. Now, does that mean you need to cut your calories? The answer most of the time is no. And here's a few reasons why I feel that. A lot of women out there especially, we go through this cycle of our body image and wanting to feel good and look good for swimsuit season. And then we want to feel good and look good for the new year. This cycle, constant dieting and heavy training, heavy cardio, is hurting our long-term connection in our central nervous system to our adrenal glands, our sex hormones, our thyroid, and our gut. And these four, when they're connected, if one of them feels off because of an extra stress, that is going through our pituitary gland. It's alerting our system saying, uh-oh, Caroline's overtraining, she's trying to kill herself again. We're going to adjust her cortisol and her leptin and ghrelin, these hormones that control appetite, and either suppress it or increase it. Or it's going to affect my ovaries saying, we don't want you to produce a baby right now, so it's going to stop my period, and I'm going to have mood swings, and maybe I'm going to have other types of side effects from my sex hormones being off. Or then you have the thyroid and the adrenal glands, which a lot of people underestimate. Those two especially work with our metabolism. So if you are going to go into a cut, you've already been cutting and dieting and you're not seeing results, odds are there's something off with your adrenal glands and or your thyroid that in turn is leading to a metabolic adaptation and a stall out process. So I actually have been going through a new program that I've learned through Nutrition Dynamic that I'm working with some clients on as well. And essentially it's a 3-phase approach to healing metabolic syndrome. There's various ways you can get metabolic syndrome, and I'm not going to go into that today specifically, but when you increase your calories and you start introducing more whole foods in a Mediterranean diet style elimination diet, you can actually heal some of these issues and imbalances with proper additions of vitamins, nutrients, fiber, some of these extras that we're actually depleted of in our bodies right now. So when you do that over the course of a few weeks, you can eventually start increasing your calories, sometimes even higher than you've ever eaten before, without putting on weight or body fat. It's amazing. The other piece of it too is stress management. So that's one of the reasons I'm actually gonna be backing off from going to the gym. I'm probably only gonna be doing 2 workouts a week in the gym for the next 2 weeks, focusing on more walking, meditation, doing yoga at home, and not stressing myself out because already my brain, my mind, already a stress ball. So if you're somebody who's recently coming out of a competition prep, you can reverse diet, slowly but surely increasing your calories, or you can go into this flushing phase to detox and help your liver naturally detox that system, especially anybody who's on any type of performance enhancers. You need to keep that in mind because your body's not going to operate the same once you implement something into your system. Years down the road, your body's still not going to operate the same. So take that into account when you're deciding, is it time for me to cut, or maybe I need to go into an increased calorie range. Now, I used to be a big fan of macros. I think there needs to be a healthy balance between the macros and the foods that you're taking from the plan to put into your macros. That's where I think a lot of coaches who only do macro coaching do it incorrectly, is you give somebody a number and you're just teaching them to follow numbers. Well, odds are you're going to learn there's going to be dietary restrictions. You're going to have dietary issues from foods that you aren't adding into your diet because you just decide you don't want to eat vegetables because you're getting plenty of carbs from other foods, right? So that's just something to think about. And whether you're in a competition prep style of life or you're just an everyday person, knowing what you're eating and how it affects your body can be extremely beneficial. So keeping a food diary, keeping track every day how you feel after you eat a meal, maybe after about a half hour to an hour, are you hungry? What's the symptoms or side effects you're getting from certain ways you eat? Are you getting a sugar crash because you ate that donut in the morning? Things like that. So I hope this is beneficial. I am taking on clients and open to a free consult session as well. So if you want, go ahead and click on the link in the description here to set up your complimentary call with me. We can discuss some options for you if it's time for you to cut or bulk this holiday season or into the new year, and just live your healthiest life. It's time for you to own your evolution, to take that next step to feeling good in your own skin and being stronger than ever before, mentally and physically. So thanks again, Strong Sweet Caroline. I'll talk to y'all soon.